I take this opportunity to welcome you all, especially the fourth estate, to the the fourth estate. Thank you very much for coming. In fact, your being here today is long overdue because we have been around and we have had a few concerns that we would want to have an opportunity to address this morning. One of the concerns that we have had is about dropout from the TVET institutions. And we would like to say that this is normal with the space, with training, because if we are talking about the fee that is payable to the by TVET students, there is the household space. There's a household part of it, part of the fee payment. And what would happen is that probably, especially now that there is a lot of kiangazi in Kenya currently, there could be a bit of a problem with parents and students therefore being able to meet that part of the payment. And therefore, the dropping out could be as a result of that space, of there not being enough facility by the parents and the students themselves to be able to pay. And the fee itself in the TVET space, we want to make it very clear this morning that it was capped at 35,000 for all the students, whatever course they are taking. And this, it was done after a stakeholders meeting that was held at PC Kenyanjui, mainly involving the principals, who are the people on the ground, who are the implementers of the of TVET training. And therefore, we asked them as a ministry to have a meeting and be able to let us know what is the best, what is the best space to place TVET training per module. And we want the entire nation to understand that TVET training has now been modularized. TVET reforms have been here with us since 2018, when the current president was the deputy president. And I want to state that he himself is very TVETized. He is the first TVET champion in this country. And therefore, he began TVET reforms in 2018 when he was the deputy president. When he came to power in 2022, in 2023, we began now fast-tracking TVET reforms. And in September 2023, as a ministry, we decided to only train in TVET in CBET. So we issued a circular in September 2023 where the training in TVET now was only going to be competency-based education and training. What does that mean? That TVET training or training in TVET was going to be competency, that is practical in nature. And that is because it is the responsibility of the TVET space to be able to produce the people with the actual skills for doing. We need a lot of people in this country with the actual skills to be able to do things. And therefore, what you are doing in the department is, as much as possible, if not entirely, exit the training just by teaching, and that is a theoretical training to practical training. And so in September 2023, we issued that circular as a ministry, and we decided to go competency training. And eventually it was also realized that in as much as we had gone competency-based training, a lot of young people were still going out of training, say after a year, but did not have an employable skill. You have been in school for almost a year, but you still cannot be employed. And therefore, we again brought together industry and the same principals at PC Kenyanjui, and we asked them to look at the curricula very closely. After that meeting, it was decided that we were going to go modular. What does that mean? That a young person comes to school and is in the workshops and the laboratories for 3 months. By the time that young person is out of training in 3 months, they have employable skills. So that even if, for whatever reason, mainly economic, one is not able to be in training much longer, then one can exit with a competence, be able to take up employment, and probably, if need be, come back. I'll give an example. We have just trained about 1,500 solar installation technicians. We have only trained them for a month, I think a month and a half. Those technicians are the ones that we are using now, because we have an MOU with KCB to solarize all our institutions. Those technicians are the ones who are installing solar in our institutions, and they are getting paid. They are earning their living. And therefore, what we decided as a department, as a ministry, is that let young people come for training for the first 3 months and be able to be absolutely certified, because they are well trained. In fact, we call it competent. They are competent to take up training. There are a lot of young people we are training in Kibra. We have an institution in Kibera called Kibra. And they come to school for about a month. They know how to plait hair very well. They know how to do nails very well. And then they're not coming to school again. And when you ask them, why aren't you coming to school? I am working. I am earning a living. So this is the direction of TVET, of training in TVET. Modularized curricula, modularized training. And that is what we have also said was capped by that meeting which was held at PC Kenyanjui at 35,000 Kenya shillings. And that is tuition fee, materials, because we have said that we are training practically, so a lot of materials are being acquired. So it is tuition fee, materials, and assessment. We capped it at 35,000. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we want to say is that that is what we are training in TVET. And the question of dropping out, that might be there because, like I explained before, the parents and the students may not be able to easily afford. But remember that as soon as they get to our institutions, they are supposed to apply, and they do apply for scholarship and help. But now there is the parents are part of it, which might sometimes be an issue to a certain extent. But as much as possible, we as government want to ensure that the scholarships and the help loans are paid, so that our young people can stay in the colleges, and they can be able to be trained as shortly and as requisitely as possible to be able to earn a living. Thank you very much, Tebet. Yes. The question of modularization and consulting, I have already said that as at the time we were going modular, we held a consultation meeting at PC Kenyanjui, and the minutes are available. The industry was there. The implementers, the actual implementers of this, that is all the principals across the country, were there. And my technical team, who are here now, were also available there. So the question of saying that consultations were not done, is that one I beg to differ. There are minutes available. There is a venue and the dates. available. So consultations were done across the board. That position was taken, and we forwarded it to the CS, who was able to accede to the same position. And let me also add this: modular training was also an absolute interest of His Excellency the President himself. One day in Kibra, he actually talked to me and the CS, and he told us we need to bring down the length of these young people staying in the institutions, so that we ensure that they don't stay too long still without the skills that I spoke about. So again, in as much as this is a position taken by the ministry, by the department, it is also executive, that this was in the interest, and His Excellency the President, who I said earlier on is an absolute TVET person, was very much interested in ensuring that the young people have got skills that they can utilize to earn a living. Time for exams. Chebet, I have just said that 1.5 months is enough to train the technicians for solar installation. And they are doing the solar installation here now in this country. And they are going to do in the 260 something institutions across the country. So the question of the time of exam, in any case, in TVET, we only have written exams in level 4, 5, and 6. Level 5 and 6, a bit in level 4 maybe. In level 1, 3, and 4, we have assessment going on as you train, what we call coming up with portfolio of evidence. So our examining of our students is formative. It is not summative. We are saying that if we are training you to do bricklaying, for example, we will observe you and check that you can do absolute bricklaying as you do it, and we declare you competent in bricklaying. Then we go to painting, for example, another skill. Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, what we are interested in is ensuring that if the young people have the skill, they can be able to do what it is that they are required to do. We have a lot of spray painting. I saw a lot of spray painting in Madioya, TVC. We have vehicles. We have partnered with Juakali people who are now bringing their vehicles in our institution, so that we do the training as we do your vehicle. All right. So that by the time that young person is declared competent, they can do absolute spray painting of a vehicle. Are we together? So examinations, we can speak about examinations at a higher level. But at the skilling level, we are talking about ensuring that you are competent. I don't know what it is about therefore the credibility of exams, but ladies and gentlemen, should anybody have any reason to let us know, because everything is continuous improvement. All right. Yes, I have heard about the printing of the examinations when it could leak out and all that. I have also heard that. I cannot deny that. But I would like to check and counter check and recheck this. But remember, as much as possible, we want to insist on the formative examination as opposed to the summative examination, where we are not having people sitting at this is the period for examination. No. In TVET, it is different. We want to skill you along the way to ensure that you have the absolute know-how of doing what it is that you're required to do. Yes. Yes. Fees and money, is very emotive. But I want to clarify this very, very clearly. Actually, I have my notes with me so that it is very clear. Now, for level 3, the in the previous space, the lowest charged was for level 3, okay, was 32,396, and the highest was 49,396 per module. Okay, per module, per term, 3 months, if you like it. Yeah. Then for level 4 was 87,189, and the highest was then 121,189. Okay. Then for level 5 was, the lowest was 174,378, and the highest was 242,378. Okay. Diploma, which is level 6, was 261,567, and the highest was 363,567. All right. Now, for modular, okay, level 3 was capped at 35,000. Okay. So whether you are doing any course, whichever course, we capped it at 35,000. Level 4 will therefore be 70,000. The 2 modules, okay, etc., etc. So you can see, you can compare that 35,000 with the former highest, which was, call it 50,000, 49,000 something. All right. The second one, which is level 4, the highest was 121,181, and you can compare it with 70,000, and you can, yes, yes. All right. So when we therefore go out there and make sweeping statements on how expensive this training is, we can give you absolute figures, and figures don't lie. All right. So what we did at Kabete, PC Kenyanjui, was sit down and, as much as possible, make these figures as affordable and as cost effective as possible. And these are the figures which we have here, and we can avail them to anybody anytime. So then the second part of it was the capitation and the help is not always available. Ladies and gentlemen, my statement has always been this: as a Kenyan and as a parent and as a brother, money is never enough. Resources will always be scarce. So yes, there are times that we will not be having all the resources that we need to allocate to the students, and that is, it is not even enough anywhere, even in our homes. So yes, sometimes we would be struggling, but that does not mean as government we are not making as much effort as possible to be able to allocate these resources to our young people. For example, since yesterday, I've been struggling together with the CS to be able to avail the help that has not been released as yet. So it is not that as we are not willing, but sometimes the availability of these resources is not absolute. That is not true, and I have my head of accounts here present in this press conference, and if need be, he can avail he can avail the figures that have continuously been being released to the institutions on capitation. So for capitation, we can avail the figures. The figure. How much are you or maybe the last year? The last capitation we sent in Burundi, when did we send the last tranche of capitation? The first week of January. The first week of January, we sent the last tranche of capitation. Yes. We also now go to the fire that I did not, there is no fire. The fire is being lit by people who are not responsible, and the person who called Kefa, who is leading this so-called fire that you seem to be a fire, is a very irresponsible person who is not even at what is his institution? React training students, which is what he's supposed to do. I've asked for a report for the last time. Kefa was in RIAT training. We have written to the Public Service Commission to ask them about the requisite position of that so-called TVET. All right, because the chairman is called Ridigu, who is very busy training students in Godoma. That's the chairman. So what Kefa is walking around calling himself a Secretary General, and there has been no elections for Kutret held as yet. So those are not my principles. My principles are in the institutions responsibly training young people.
Actually, that brings me to the question, because they talked about intimidation, and every time that you try and do for something, they are threatened with what they are calling lighter duty. So when you ask questions as principals, that's why they are saying they are scared to ask the question. They are told that you will give them lighter duty. So is this what I'm reading now?
Chebet, I am absolutely against irresponsibility. Okay? I have not threatened anybody, but I have insisted people need to be responsible, and people need to be first and foremost in the institution's training. If there is anybody who has been threatened with lighter duties, let me know. Came to power, the number in the institutions was around about 300,000. We are now at 850,000. Qualifications framework, which is the grading system. So we are in the process of, because now we have modularized, we are in the process of working out how many modules will fit in a certain level of Kenya National Qualification Authority. So that is work in progress. But as at now, we have level 3, we have level 4, we have level 5, which is level 5 craft, and level 6, which is diploma, and then going on to first degree and the second degree. So that is in the Kenya National Qualifications framework. When the young people get to the institutions, they apply for capitation and for capitation that is a scholarship and the help and the help loan. So it is dependent actually to a large extent on the availability. When there is so much available, then it is distributed per the number of students. All right. Then the following month, another tranche goes out to the institutions. Yeah, there's somebody behind. GMK News. I may not have the number of those who have dropped out, because in TVET we are a very spaghetti kind of in and out movement. So even the so-called dropouts, there will be, they will come back. You know why? Because you can finish a unit. Actually, it is packaged for you. Nobody takes it away from you. You can go for whatever reason, even working. Like I said, in Kibra they will go away because they have known how to plait hair. You can come back and do nails. So we have a very spaghetti kind of, whichever reason that you have for not being in the institution this month, you can always come back. Last December, we got a trophy on zero audit, but that doesn't mean we are perfect. And that does not mean we are not subject to correction. We are. And therefore, one thing or the other will be flagged. And that is because there is no perfection. But at the end of the day, we have been rated as one of the best, zero audit. Basic education, my colleague, PSB talk. So I might not be the most requisite person to answer that question. But being an officer of the Ministry of Education, the other day when we went for elimu mashinani at Lavington, the CS was on record as saying that if you look at all these young people, for example, hundreds and hundreds want to go to Alliance. Why? Because probably there are facilities in Alliance and other many schools across the country, and therefore he even suggested that there might be a government policy towards polarizing our young people towards where they want to go, because it is very important to place a child where they want to learn. So we get even more facilities in certain spaces where we have realized our young people want to go, and put them there and train them as requisitely as possible. And therefore the challenge might be where you find hakuna watoto wameenda huko. You know, these young people, generations are changing. They can think tukienda huko maybe masomo itakuwa this, and we cannot blame them. Actually, them being able to make those choices is very good. So we are not worried about there being one or two, three in the miri. We are not too worried about that, provided those children who are supposed to have been there are elsewhere, where they could actually be having better facilities, and therefore they will learn. So for us as the ministry, for us as government, our biggest concern would be this, that the children are somewhere learning. Even if they're not learning in that village school of yours, they are probably learning in the middle of Meru town, where there are facilities and where they're happy, because those are the choices we would like to give our children to learn. It is not my